air, and if they are good in the back end, then we can pound, and it opens that up too. So just good offensive football. We've been pretty good offensively the whole year outside of that one game. So just continue to build on that and get better and better each week.
In terms of TJ's start, did you have to kind of lessen the load for him, or was it kind of next man up in the most basic kind of way?
A little bit of both. There was a few things, that we tried to simplify, but at the same time, TJ's a really intelligent player. He's worked under Josh. He's been waiting for an opportunity, and you never like an opportunity like that to come because of an injury, but that's usually when they do come. And so, for him to step up, he was well prepared. There were some things. You go back on film, he missed some blocks. There's a couple things in the. He got 4 Emmys, and that's going to happen to some extent. And it was not an easy game plan in terms of who we were facing from a defensive look. They did a lot, and I think they knew TJ was going to be in there, so they did a lot of movement, which changes your IDs, right? It changes your fits. And for a guy that doesn't have a lot of experience with that, he was able to make some adjustments. There was a couple plays where just little nuances that we'd like to make a change, or maybe go front side on something, and he didn't do those things, and there's a guy in the backfield, right? So you come over the sideline, you make some adjustments, and then you saw some really good things in the second half, right, when we were starting to open it up a little bit, and Khalil ran the ball really well, and then again, when you have what you have through the air too, like that's a good thing. And I was really proud of him in protection. He got called for the one hold. That was a technique thing, fundamental thing. He got caught too far and to get his feet tangled with Getsky, and then came back and just kind of launched at the guy and pulled him down. But from an ID perspective and protections, he was pretty sound. And they did some things on third down that was challenging. And so really pleased with his preparation. But he's studied under Josh and worked under Josh, and they're close. And Josh was there at the game because we thought Josh might be able to go or later on in the week, and then it was pretty clear that he wasn't going to be full go. So Josh was a great coach during the sideline too. So proud of the way those guys responded. Obviously, it was a grimy game to that extent on the interior, but then that opened up everything else. And so they fought and finished, and obviously got a Big Ten road win and a rivalry game. That's a big time deal.
Ohio State has pretty good defensive front, the future NFL guys up there. What have you seen from them on film in terms of what they do?
Well, they're very talented group. They play really hard, and that's a testament to them as players, to them as coaches. They're physical. You can't always say that about defenses that you see on film, and you can about these guys. They fit the bill and play really hard, play physical. They're violent. They like to attack the quarterback. They like to attack whole linemen too, bring down the center of your body and bull rush and things of that nature. So we got to be ready for that. And they're a good defense. They're a good defense, and I don't know if there's a weakness on each level. And so we got to play really, really good football, sound football. And do really keep things simplistic, but also at the same time so we can have enough bullets in the gun, obviously, to go and attack. But good defense, really good defense. You can see why they're number one. Obviously, they're giving up 5 points a game, something like that, and really talented up front. So we got our work cut out for us this week.
This is obviously one more. It's your final year with Josh. Obviously, what did TJ show you on Saturday that would maybe give you confidence going into an eventual life without Josh Groups?
I think the thing that TJ did well, I always knew he was smart. We always, he prepares really well. So I was not worried about those things. And some of the mistakes he did make were somewhat expected in the first game, right, as a starter. I was pleased with more of the physical presence of it. I didn't feel like he got beat physically. There were times where he got in bad body positions. There were times where, and I'd like him to do something a little bit differently from a technique standpoint. But I don't think you watch the game and say, oh, we're getting outmatched at that spot. And that was a good thing. Your first start, he's played in a few packages, but nothing more than 5 or 6 plays a game. And all of a sudden he goes and plays 67 plays. And we throw everything at him. Our centers, as you guys know, we put everything on those guys. And for him to perform like that was good to see. So the physicality piece I was pleased with. Just the composure too. I think that's a big thing. That was a big game. And they, offensively, they were making some strides. We had to go out and execute at the end. And so I was pleased to see him handle that moment.
I guess if I have time for one more, it seems like you guys are starting to click in ways that we've seen in years past. Is that a fair assessment? And if you look back, what was maybe the process to get to that point?
I think it could be fair to say. I think there's there's parts of every game that we perform very well in, and there's other parts I think there's some undue things on us. We can give up a sack in 2 games, but we've been credited with 3 in the last 2. None of those are on us. So there's some things that I think we take a little heat for, but I think the one thing we've done as an offense is played to our strengths more. We haven't gotten in these, other than Indiana, this drop back game, and all of a sudden, like, that's not who we are. Nobody's meant to be that way. And that, Penn State 2 years ago was like that, and so it's just, I think we're using the things that we're good at. We're mixing things up offensively. We're keeping defenses on their heels and on certain looks. And then guys are settling in and playing comfortably, and we're doing things that we're traditionally good at. It's one thing to say, okay, we want to be good at this, but maybe we're not recruited to that way. We're built that way, right? So we got to look as a staff and know what we're doing offensively as well. And we're 5-1, and we're scoring a lot of points on offense. So we're having all these conversations, and it sometimes feels like we're 1-5. And that's a good thing, right? It's a good thing to be that high of a standard. And so, and then truth be told, there's some guys that are playing at a very high level, and there's other guys that are a weakness, and we have to get that. We have to improve that. So, a couple of those guys I'm really proud of. They're playing their way into a big future, and other guys need to step up. So that'll continue as we go throughout the season, but we got to keep pushing them to get better, and everybody week after week. So.